going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, Mark Rubin said that after the server test, they're going to go ahead and put together a little blog post to kind of inform us on, what they're working on, how was the performance of the server test, and, what to expect in the future. And let me tell you guys, we got some fantastic news back. So in today's video, we're going to go ahead and discuss, read it all, give my 2 cents, and of course, I would love for you guys to give your 2 cents as well down in the comment section below. But as always, before we hop in, if you guys are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell. We'll post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time, mostly Call of Duty, but of course, just like this video, when Xdefiant drops and more information comes out and there's more stuff to talk about, you best believe there's going to be a ton of content revolving around Xdefiant on this channel. And last but not least, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I won't be live today on Sunday, but I'll be back in action on Monday. So if you guys are interested, I have a link to my Kick channel down in the description of this video. And those streams usually go live around 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, enough yabbing on here. Let's get right into the real juicy details. In this blog post, as you can see, it says, "Hello everyone. First off, thank you to everyone that participated in our server test session. We got a lot of great data to help us tune the servers and netcode. The team felt really good about how the test went, and we are really excited about getting to launch, and we will have more info on when that will be very soon. So let's talk about the results of the test. We know it wasn't perfect for everyone, but because of your feedback and the data we collected, we were able to identify a few things that we can tune to improve the experience. An analogy I've used when discussing our new netcode versus the old netcode is that previously we had an old, kind of busted guitar, but it was reasonably tuned. Now we have a new guitar, but it needs tuning, and that's what this test helped us do. So, thank you. I want to share with you the 3 of the biggest things that we learned from the test. Some of these issues we were able to tune during the live test, and some we will improve before we go live and will continue to improve after launch. First and foremost, the Delta 01 errors. These may be one of the issues that was causing extra latency issues, i.e. getting shot around corners. So this fix should improve the experience, but by how much is to be determined. Number 2, health bars, both over the player heads and in death cam, were updated later than actual damage, giving the impression that your bullets were doing damage. And lastly, we were not aggressive enough with our matchmaking when trying to find matches, so people had higher pings than we would have wanted. This was partially fixed during the test, so the last day of the test should have been better than the previous days, which, again, for me personally, it was. Again, thank you to everyone who came out and played in the short test. It really helped us a lot in preparation for going live. And keep an ear out for more information soon on when we go live. We can't wait to see you all in game. First and foremost, I have to address this because I think this is very important before I get into the really juicy details, obviously, of the Xdefiant launch. But seriously, again, I just feel so bad for them because we knew it was a server stress test. We knew the whole purpose of us going into this test was to stress the heck out of it so they can tune it. We all knew this. Yet and still, everybody hopped into the test and got mad about it and got salty about it. And that was the big... Oh, man. It's just insane. I'm glad he used that analogy, though. Because, again, that's probably the simplest way that you could lay it out. I've been trying to explain to people for ages, but everybody keeps telling me, oh, they had all this time to fix it. What did they do? I keep telling you guys. They have... a new system in place. We have to test it so it can be fixed up and, perfected for actual launch. And the way that he described it as being, a new guitar that needs to be tuned up so it actually works properly, I think is fantastic. And again, it simplifies it for people who just simply could not understand that the stress test wasn't a beta, it wasn't, a demo, it wasn't a way for you to see if you like the game. No, we were literally testing to help for the launch of the title. I genuinely still believe people don't understand this. But games play massively different behind the scenes when they're in the office testing it compared to when the game is out in the public. So, yes, they had to put out this test to make sure everything was tuned because you could tune it behind the scenes, but if you don't actually publicly put it out and see how it is with a larger group of people, because it's going to be millions of people probably tuning in, it's different. So they had to do this, but again, I don't think people understand this. And they were just so mad. They were literally designing this system the whole time. The whole time they took the game back and delayed it, they've been designing this system. And they put the system in, and people were complaining that it's nothing new, when in reality it is. It just has to be tuned by us, but nobody wants to do it because they want to just play the game. They don't want to test it. They don't want to work on it. They just want to play it. Understandable, but again, that's why I made a tweet a little while ago. If you guys don't follow me over on Twitter, I highly suggest doing so, man. I put out some some hot takes over there sometimes. But I was saying that they probably shouldn't put out any more tests for this game. They should just call it quits, because seriously, every single time they do so, it just gives them bad reputation, because people have the mentality that every single beta, every single playtest is how Call of Duty is, where it's basically the final, product. It's not much that's going to be tweaked, not much that's going to be done. They're just putting it out there so you could test it and then, buy the game. That's not how these tests are done in Xdefiant. And, I've been saying maybe they shouldn't put out anything else until the game launches, because people are just going to keep saying, oh, what was the point of holding this back? What was the point of doing this beta? It plays so bad. What were they doing with all that time? But maybe, I don't know. I feel like it's still a massive portion of people out there who understand that we're doing play tests and, betas and server stress tests, and we're helping the developers along so they can perfect the product before launch. I still feel like there's a decent amount of people out there, but I don't know. It's a lot of people who are loud on social media about their dissatisfaction about how long this game is taking to get out here. And it's overwhelming sometimes, but I think that sometimes when you're on social media, you do have to take a step back to get, the bigger picture and to truly see, the reality of things. But overall, from my personal experience, and again, I'm always going to keep it real with you guys, this game is in a pretty decent spot to launch. I truthfully think so. And that's coming from a guy who's, pretty competitive. I always sink in a lot of time to these games like Call of Duty, Xdefiant, any first-person shooter that I grind out, I always sink in time into. Valorant, CSGO, Rainbow Six Siege. I always strive to become better. I look for ways to improve. So I can tell, if it plays nicely, if it plays poorly, if it's junk, if they're trying to, cash grab, if, the performance isn't up to par, if the hit detection isn't clean, if you're getting shot around corner, so on and so forth. And I can also tell when metas are a little rough and stuff of that sort. So I can tell what the sweats are going to be hyper-focusing on. And I always try to push for an equal balance. Even though I'm a little competitive, it doesn't mean that I want the game to be hyper-competitive and casuals can't enjoy it. It needs to be a mix for everyone, right? Evenly across the board so everybody can go ahead and hop into the experience. So I try to take that knowledge and I try to share it evenly on YouTube for you guys to go ahead and enjoy. And from what I played, yes, there is a handful of problems. The hit detection was definitely funky. Yes, you were getting shot around corners. Yes, all these things were occurring. But when it comes down to the gameplay itself, it's smooth, it's fluent, it's exactly what I enjoyed before. The gunplay is addicting. It's a really fun, enjoyable title. And with the lack of skill-based matchmaking, yes, there is going to be competition still. It's always going to be competition because just the FPS community in general is just getting sweatier and sweatier as time goes on, right? I think that's just how things are going here. But overall, for a casual player, I think that you could still get some good experiences. If you're maybe partying up with a bunch of really, sweaty players, you might not. But if you hop into, a solo matchmaking, it might not be every game, but you will get a handful of nice games, thrown at you. So I think people really enjoy that as well. It's in a good spot to launch, ladies and gentlemen. It is truthfully in a good spot to launch. And when they say that they're going to be giving us a release date soon, I believe it. I truthfully believe it. They have been so open to us this whole time about everything. They told us that they needed to push it back. They gave us a partial release date. They couldn't meet that release date. They openly told us. They told us why they can't meet that release date. They went behind the scenes, worked on those reasons, came back with a stress test with those reasons being resolved. The things that were the problem that they had to delay the game for. They came back, gave us a test, and told us to help them out with it so they can push the game further. We did. It's nothing else wrong. It is truthfully nothing else wrong. Like Mark Rubin said, all it needs is just a little bit more polishing. That's all this game needs now. That's it. And they can easily do that after launch, because the core problems that I don't think anybody understands that if they launched the game in the state that they were afraid of doing so, there was probably not much of a turnaround. They couldn't back up from that point, And that's the problem with Call of Duty as well and all these other titles is that they have to nail these certain things because when they get into beta, there is no backing out of it. They can't go back and, do anything. They have to launch after that point. For Xdefiant, we were lucky enough that they could pull the game, resolve issues that were going to be nearly impossible to resolve if the game launched, and then put it back out to the public in a better form where it might still be buggy here and there, but they can polish it as the game is live and in action compared to having a disaster at launch that would be nearly impossible to resolve and then all the, players just leave the game and move on to the next. Right now, I'm happy with this, and I'm happy to hear that they're confident, that they're feeling good about things, because I'm feeling good about things as well with this game, especially after what I played. I'm excited to see it come out, and I'm excited for this release date. And you know what I'm the most excited about, ladies and gentlemen? I'm the most excited about seeing all the people who are complaining about this title taking forever, hopping right into the experience, because they will. You know they will. And the same thing with Call of Duty. Everybody who, hates COD and, saying the next game is going to be trash. Guess what? Millions of people are going to be hopping on to Black Ops Gulf War for the playtest, the betas, the actual game itself. So everybody's going to talk the talk, but you know dang well they're going to hop into the experience. And everybody's saying that Xdefiant is going to flop, but I guarantee that millions of players are going to be logging in. Content creators are going to be flying across Xdefiant. People are going to be looking for this game for no skill-based matchmaking and a competitor to COD. It's not going to take down Call of Duty, but to say that it's going to, flop hard, it's not. It's not. It's going to get players into the experience. Now, will those players stay? That's a different question. I don't know. It might dwindle down to a smaller community as the months go on. But at launch, I guarantee it's going to be just as popular as it was when the first beta went ahead and dropped. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hated it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And of course, if you guys want to check out any of my live streams, I do that over on Kick. You guys can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.